Yes.
Now I can see you. Holy shit. So, I'm actually staying at the Plaza. Now those of you who have never stayed at the Plaza, I can give you a way to, when your friends say to you, you ever stay at the Plaza, what's it like? You can actually now answer them. I will teach you a poem. I want you to recite after me, and you will know what it is to stay at the Plaza. The maids who work the Plaza are very hard to shock. They wait until you're naked. Then they enter, then they knock.
Give you a stand-up routine.
And it took forever. I live a strange life. It's been an interesting year, and by the way, there's some Lord of the Rings fans in the audience. Have you seen the one over here? Is this the same or variation on the play that they did in Toronto? Because I saw the Lord of the Rings play when it was playing in Toronto, and they did the entire 3-book trilogy in one 2-hour or 2.5-hour play. The most wretched thing I've ever seen. It was, I mean, and it would go from, you know, say, Rivendell to somewhere else, and these big blocks would come out of the floor. They'd run along the park like this, going back and forth, and they'd do it for 5 minutes. No one ever heard of a fade to black, apparently. And then they had like a 3-minute scene with no charisma, no performance, no characterization. As I'm Gandalf, I'll be your waiter. You know, it was just completely flat affect. And by the intermission time, it was like on the Titanic running for the lifeboats. Just run! Get ahead of it! You know? It was just, I couldn't see the rest of it. The first act curtain was Gandalf versus the Balrog, right? And this big paper-mache Balrog appears at the back of the station. There's Gandalf holding his staff up, and it's supposed to burst into flame, and it doesn't. And he's standing there acting his little heart out, and nothing is happening. And as the curtain begins to fall, then the Balrog ignites. You know? It was wonderful. It was wonderful. The only play I saw was worse than that. I was in London recently, and I saw they did a production of Zorro.
No.
In English out loud. And it was just, and it was a musical. And the numbers, you know, it wasn't, the smell was the burning of the eyes after a while. You know? And I sat there just dying in misery and pain. We gotta get out of here. And the act break came, and I left, oh, thank God we're free. And I realized as we're in the cab, my phone is gone. It must have fallen at the theater. So I go back to the theater, and it's now the second act going on. I got to go past everyone to my seat, and I finally get down in the seat, and I'm feeling down on the inside, and I finally got it. Oh, I got it. I'm trapped. But they were pissed enough that I walked in the first place. If I walk out, they're going to fucking kill me. Oh, God. And the worst of it, when they got to the end, I figured, at least thank God I can leave now. They did a reprise of all the songs. Now you would think it would be a medley, wouldn't you? You know, a bit of each one. They did every entire song in its entirety. Terrible. I'm still blind in one eye because of it. I did a cameo in the Thor movie. Which I also have story credit, by the way. Share story credit. And I was supposed to just show up and do like a walkthrough, like they always have guys do, just like, you know, we'd see him in the distance, like stand, hey, he's gone, you know. And Ken Branagh decided I could act. Against all the evidence to the contrary. And he putting in more and more things to do and more scenes and this and that. And what was funny is that if we read the Thor book that I did, where the hammer lands somewhere in the Midwest, and this whole lineup of guys comes over to try and, you know, pick it up, and the guy finds it. Well, the role that I played was expanded to become this, was a guy driving down the road, sees this crater, gets up, gets out of the car, looks at it, looks back around, walks over, goes over and tries to pick up the hammer. Can't, gets a great idea, calls his pals, and they all show up, and he's there backing up trucks and trying to pull the hammer out. Which is what I wrote. I vanish into my own narrative. I hate when that happens. But you know, it was fun to work with. He said, oh, you're very truthful in your acting. He says, it's all bullshit. Exactly. That's the key to acting. It's just all bullshit. Now you tell me. So, what news-wise can I tell you? I just finished the script for Underworld 4.
Oh,
right? Which they slated to go into production in March to come out next winter. Finish up World War Z, which I hear is in pre-production, but I haven't. I'm just told this got into prep. I haven't been told that officially. In fact, turned in a script for a movie based on the game Shattered Union for the Bruckheimer boys. And they liked it so much, much to my surprise, that they hired me for a second film I can't tell you about yet. That's fine. No, I can't tell you. Not that you would put it on the nest or anything. No, you would never do that. No, nice kitty. Where the hell did that come from? And decided to do a movie for DreamWorks Animation, which I also can't tell you about. Jeez, I know.
Well, Business Planet.
Forbidden Planet, still looking for a director. Jim Cameron, who was involved as a producer on this and director, wanted to direct it, but he had to bail because he wants to do Avatar 2, and that would take 35 years of prep.
It's going to the fourth.
So we'll see what happens with that. I fully understand. Look, it takes a lot of energy to put together a film, and that's his baby. He said, I really can't do a film like Forbidden Planet while I'm out doing Avatar 2 prep. I said, I totally get that. So he went to do that, but Warner's looking for a director now. And one other film that I signed recently to do, I'll think of it eventually. But it's been really quite an interesting period, film-wise. And comics, also a lot of fun. The Superman grounded story, which is plugging along. The graphic novel, Superman Earth 1, comes out later this month. Very happy about. And Wonder Woman still goes on.
Cool.
Which, when I signed to do Wonder Woman, the first thing Jeff Johns said to me was, don't go on the nets. It's gonna be bad. And it's been interesting to watch the reaction to that, because they're all saying, well, it's not my Wonder Woman, it's not the one that I know. No, you're right. It's not, because she grew up differently. Wonder Woman, you knew, grew up in Paradise Island. This is one who grew up in the streets, you know. She doesn't have the same set of characteristics. And why should be an Elseworld story? Why? Silver Age, I grew up in the Silver Age. And you were always doing weird shit to your main characters. You didn't have to make the excuse of putting it in an Elseworlds book. You know, Jimmy Olsen became Turtle Man. Big green eyes and a shell. It didn't say it's an Elseworlds. No, it happened to him in that continuity. Superman, everyone considered got an ant head? No, I didn't say that's not my Superman because he has an ant head. I thought it was kind of cool. I wanted an ant head. I realized that was redundant. So, what we're saying is that something in continuity has changed the past. And there's clues all through the book to what's going on. We say that approximately 20 years ago, the protection of Paradise Island was removed, and it was attacked, and she escaped. We also mentioned, as a child, that about 20 years ago, the gods all disappeared. I kind of implying a connection between the two. And I even underscored it in the last issue, where the whole reason that she goes to hell is for one scene, which is why it's a fairly abbreviated piece. She's there, and she is told by Charon, who runs the underworld, who's the metro transport part of it, also redundant, that Cerberus will not allow anyone to pass except Hades. And she goes up prepared for a fight, and said, "Oh," and lays down. I had them add the sound effect. I wasn't thinking that he sniffed her and passed out or something, you know, because that would be completely the wrong message. And, you know, she doesn't think about it too much, but there's something important about the fact that it only responds to Hades, and yet it responded to her. There's a connection there. There's a mystery. And it's like, you know, play along with the ant head for a while. Play along with the mystery, enjoy the mystery, and try and figure it out. No, it's not the one you know, but all things turn around eventually, you know? So that's been